If you ever been to the state of Kentucky, and you know there's a lot of fishing in Kentucky. Yep, that's what they do. The people in Kentucky, they fish. I ain't lying. It's like the fishing capital of our world and everybody else's world. But there's a little more to it than meets the eye. If you've ever been fishing, and you know that sometimes there's a lot of downtime, where you're just sitting there with your line in the water, just drinking your beer and thinking. That's what they do. They fish and they think. But the key is in what they're thinking about while they're fishing. And they're thinking about banking pool balls into pool table pockets. That's what they're thinking about. And they're not just thinking about it, they're like obsessing. Like, yeah, I'm going to do this and this ball's going to do this and this. Boom, it's going to bank right up there, right in that pocket. So that's the secret to being a good banker. Hey, my name's John. Dirty Rat, the smoker dude. This that I have in my hand is a bank shot calculator, okay? One of the most embarrassing scams in pool history. It does have a nice pouch though. Look, it's got the Michelin Man on there. This was given to me by a friend in Kentucky who absolutely annihilated me in a Banks game, 9 games to 2. And as a joke, he gave that to me and said I need to practice. And it's still not funny. What is it? It's a piece of plexiglass, clear plexiglass with lines on it. And I don't know, there's no instructions on how to use this, but I think you hold it up to the pool table and the lines tell you where to bank the ball. Or something like that, I don't know. And there's a lot of scams in pool. There always has been. With, both systems and products. And this is the most ridiculous product ever sold in the pool market. And people bought them. The pros, there's a long-standing joke with these. And, the pros have always cracked up when they heard about it. But there's a lot of amateurs in pool. And there's a lot of beginner players. And they keep coming in, and the old guys keep dying, and new players. And they fall victims to stuff like this. Especially if the marketing is really, really top shelf and high budget. And I never claimed to be this incredible banker. I'm okay, but I would get beat by a good banker. And the guy that gave this to me, of course, he's from Kentucky, so you should let this be a lesson to you. If you're about to play in a match with a bank pool match with anyone, check their ID, and if it says Kentucky, do not play them. Yeah. This thing. That is worse than a Minnesota Fat pool cue. Yeah. And let's take a little bit further. Today we have videos on the internet teaching people bank systems. And see, they're all bogus, they're all crap, and they're all a little bit confusing because that person making that video wants you to keep on coming back and trying to figure it out. And it's not just with banks either. And this way, the person making the video starts raking in the money. And the reason that they're bogus is because every table bank's different, every rail bank's different. You have 6 rails on a pool table, and you can have all 6 banking different. And the distance between the object ball and the rail is always different. The angle's always different. The humidity is always different. There is no scientific way to take, okay, 4 diamonds minus this times 22 and I need to hit the rail. It's all complete bogus bullshit. Now, if I sound a little bit pissed off, I'm not really pissed off. I'm tired of seeing kids and new players and people struggling with their game, getting ripped off on these often very expensive scams. That sounds pissed off. Yeah, that sounds pissed off. I don't mean to sound pissed off. It's just that I hate to see it. And pool's like the only sport in the world where you can do this to people. You know what I mean? If I said I had a new football that anyone can kick 100 yards, you would obviously know that's stupid. But if I come out to claim to have a shaft that does this and that and the other thing, everyone falls for it because they all want, to be pro pool players. And they think that you need crap like this. It's a piece of plexiglass with lines on it to be a good player, and you don't. You need to practice a whole lot, and you need to practice doing things right, not wrong. And I need practice with my bank pool game. And this is what I made a bank video, I don't know, what was it, 2 weeks ago? So yesterday, I went out and I was like, well, okay, I'm going to keep on practicing banks because this is where, I'm a little bit incompetent. I can bank too consistently. I can get shape on the second ball consistently, but I get a little bit out of line on that second ball. And this is consistently. To where I have to put a little too much on that second bank to get on the third bank. And the cue ball is getting away from me. I'm missing the bank, and it's happening over and over again. So since the last video, although I have practiced it, I'm kind of stuck right there. Now, I'm going to run back up to Kentucky and take lessons off John Brumbeck. That's what I'm going to do. No, I'm not. I don't think John gives lessons. He's always fishing. John plays one tournament a year, Derby City, wins it, and goes fishing for the entire rest of the year. And then he comes back to Derby after a year and wins it again. Yeah. Imagine that kind of life. You go, John. You rock. Fish away, brother. Let's get to the video. I always said that banks were the perfect game for TV. And that's because you see great players getting out of line and going for very difficult shots and either making them or missing them, and that adds way more excitement to the game. So it's much more fan-friendly than any other game, but the promoters of the game just have not picked up on this basic issue yet. And if you're at the point of being a little bit burnt out and being a little bit sick of whatever game that you play on a daily basis, banks is the perfect game to practice. And that's because the challenges are endless. The game is more difficult to run out than any other game. And it really forces a player to be all there mentally and to pinpoint where they want that cue ball. So the challenge is huge. I mean, you're not just shooting balls into a pocket, you're banking them. So that brings up all these new elements in the game. And this is the game for you if you're experiencing a little bit of burnout. So if you break and you make a ball, you're still at the table, but that ball that you made on the break stays down in the pocket until you're done shooting. And you still have to make 5 balls to win the game. So let's say you make one bank and get out of line on your planned second bank. Now you have to step back and take your time and plan another 4-ball pattern. And then if you make another bank and you get out of line, then you have to replan it again on a 3-ball pattern. And keep doing that. And what you're doing is training your mind to think right. So it really just comes down to your own personal goals with pool. And I say, and I've always thought, is aim high. Just keep aiming high and be the best you can be. And that way you'll be able to compete with the big dogs in the end and go for bigger money than you're probably making today. In this particular game, you can see I got a little too far on the right side of the 5-ball. The plan was to shoot and to bank the 3-ball next, but now I have to go all the way back down the table because I was out of line. Shoot the 1 and try to work my way back up in line to shoot that 3. And I just kind of botched it. Yeah, that's the plan. A lot of times, in fact, most of the time, you don't want to go back and forth up and down the table. You want to stay on one side of the table until you're just out of options. It's a lot like 8-ball. You just want to cut. You want to cut the table into areas or sections, and just focus on those balls, so you don't have to move the cue ball as much. It's more about getting straight in than being on angles and stuff. I mean, that's 9-ball banks in a perfect world. But, you know, you'd have to be an incredibly strong player to do that. And now you can see I'm way out of line, and, you know, your last option is shoot long route banks, you know, the length of the table. What players are looking for is short, you know, cross-side banks. They like the bank in the side. Because you're not really shooting at an angle, the object ball is coming straight at the pocket, and you have a bigger target. Their next option is sideways banks into the corner, and they're usually not playing shape on a long bank, the length of the table, and using a short rail because it's hard to play position on those shots. It's all about playing position and keeping the game, just like any pool game, just keeping it as simple as you can. So the more you move the cue ball, the more you can go wrong. Yeah, that was a double kiss right there, and it was the only option I really had, and I had to go for it. And this is typical for me. I'll shoot 2 consistently, but I'll get it a little bit out of line on that second one, and therefore I have no chance to stick with my plan. I have to cut the cue ball loose, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to just shoot and take what you're left. You have to have a plan. Even if the plan fails, at least you're thinking right. And this was just, 2 cross-corner banks right next to each other. And we're pretty much lined up on the 2. I might have to kill the cue ball a little bit and just kind of stun bank it. And that was just weak. That was just a bad stroke there. So on shooting this 2-ball first, the cue ball is going to go down table, and I'm trying to get on the 1. And I come up a little bit short. My next shot after the 1 was planned for the 3-ball. But if I bank this the way I have it planned, the cue ball is running right into the 3-ball. So that was that. And now I have to stick with, I mean, this is pretty much the only option I have is to stick with that 3-ball. And this is a hard shot in the side pocket. I almost made it, and it hit the titty and bounced out. I think you get the gist here. You have to have a plan. I want to keep on stressing that.
Oh, darn it.
That was way off.
Sorry.
No, that was way off.
See that you're not looking for that, but that's always a pretty shot, especially a slow roll, a long bank like that. It was just the only opening shot that I had that I knew I had a good chance of making. That's a hard shot. I think that was my best shot of the day because it wasn't just banking it. I had to push that 3-ball out of the way because the bank I just made was in direct line with the 3-ball. So I had to bank it and move the 3. And that was just terribly short and weak right there. You always want to start the game with these easy cross-side banks. And there's the plan, and the plan is to stay up table this whole game. And go 5 and out, and boom, done. Now, but the second shot is not obvious. I'm going, this is the length of the table shot. And a lot of guys won't see this, but I saw it right away. There's just a natural position from that first bank. And now, it's obviously the 4-ball. And you should make these all day long. You have to spin them a little bit with outside English. And I just spun it too much, and that's another 2. And so I'm shooting a 4, and I'm drawing back to shoot the 8. And I'm ending up with a 3. Seems like a good plan. I can get right back down on that 8 after shooting this 4. Since I'm down table, I'm going to try to stay down table. And line myself up for an easy cross corner. Here now I was playing for cross. Well, I should have played for that 9-ball cross side. I'm sure, yeah, this is not a wise choice here. I should have stuck with that 9-ball, shooting across side, but I'm shooting the length of the table. And that's a hard shot, and there's the reason. But I had the 9-ball right lined up, so if I had made that, that would have been a 4 at least. Probably a 5 and out. And it's one of those times where I changed the plan because I thought I saw something better, but I didn't. And I obviously have a plan here, and the cue ball's going back up table after I shoot what I believe is a 6-ball. And you might have saw me lining up for that 8-ball in the side. And I'm trying to gain perfect position, straight in position on that 8-ball for a cross side shot. And that's going to lead me right on the 4-ball. For another cross-side bank. This is what you're looking to do. This is what the best players in the world do. And that, if I make this 4, I shouldn't say make. When I make this 4, even though I miss it, I'm going to be right on. It's either, I can't tell with my computer. I think that's the 2-ball, might be the 8-ball. Alright, this is a little bit, hairy because I have 3 balls right in front of the side pocket, but I think I see a path to shoot that 4-ball cross side. And now I'm lined right up on the second bank, and that should, I'll see, I'm not thinking this through. It might not be a great choice because look where I'm at right now. Once again, I gotta shoot a long shot. Well, it doesn't look. Maybe I saw something I can't see right. Yeah, it was just terrible. That was just a concession right there. Plus, I left my opponent there. And that's a big problem when you're playing a really, really great player. It's really easy to leave your opponent out, and he's going to beat you.